the Writer's Corner live show brings you the backstories of the stories written by incredible storytellers from around the globe and offer you, the audience, the unique opportunity to interact with them live on the show or by leaving your questions in the chat if you are watching the replay. Our featured author of the week is Anne Charles with the book Can't Ride Around It, which she co-authored with her husband, Sam Lucky. Sit right back and we'll be back in just a moment. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Writer's Corner live show. This is where we help authors level up their storytelling impact and authority through the power of live video. Today's stream is made possible by StreamYard, Creative Edge, and BeLive Media. And I'm your host, Brigitte Limbanda from Cape Town in South Africa. And so welcome to the show, whether you're watching us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. A hearty, warm welcome, and do say hello in the chat. If you want to know when we go live, please go ahead and like our Facebook page to get the notification. And on YouTube, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell. And in today's show, we're going to talk to Anne Charles about her book, Can't Ride Around It, which she co-authored with her husband, Sam Lucky. But first, let me say hello to my amazing co-host and friend, Mary Elizabeth Jackson, who's also a special needs and disabilities advocate and the award-winning author of the Poolicious children's book series. Mary, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning for me, good afternoon, evening for you. And we are coming from around the globe, which is super exciting. And we are super excited to have Anne on today. And, you know, for mystery lovers out there, they've got to check Anne out for sure. So she's got a lot of books. And so people can read and read and read for quite a long time, can't they?
Absolutely. So Anne writes spicy stories full of mystery, comedy, adventures, suspense, romance, and supernatural mayhem, she says. And when she's not, I know, right? And when she's not dabbling in fiction, she's arm wrestling with her 2 kiddos and attempting to seduce her husband or arguing with her sassy kids. Can't wait to have her on the show.
I know. There's a book right there, actually.
Oh, absolutely. So let's invite her to the show, shall we?
Absolutely. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to dance. Let's go clubbing, right? It's a great music, isn't it?
That's fun.
It is fun.
And welcome to the show. So great to have you here today. Can't wait to learn more about what you do and how you do it. I mean, you've got so many books under your belt. How do you do it, lady?
The 2 kids.
I've given up sleep now for about 15 years. I just don't even do that because there's no time for sleep, right?
What is it? Coffee? Give me some, right?
Yes, all the vices on top of lack of sleep. So put it all together, and that's how you get that many books going. Although this day and age, man, there's so many people so many authors that are so prolific that I feel slow. I feel like I'm molasses a lot of times compared to so many.
Some of them can just sit down and boom, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it just comes right out, and then you're like, I hate you. No, I'm kidding. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, some of those are just kind of, you get stuck. And especially you're dealing with characters. So you got to wait till they talk to you and come to life.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Where did your love for writing come from?
Well, I used to read a lot more than I do now. So I grew up reading tons of books, and I didn't think I was going to be a writer. That was not one of my many, many dreams of what career I would do. But it was in my mid-20s that I kept reading these stories, and back then they were romances, the old Harlequin romance, the white ones, the white books. I would read those, and the endings were never quite what I wanted, how I wanted them to go. And so I started, thinking, well, I'm going to write a book that I want to read here. No Greek tycoons or anything like that for me. We're going to have something else. And so it just kind of got rolling, and I wrote one book, and I actually submitted it to Harlequin in London, and they rejected it, but they were so nice. They said, please don't stop writing. You show potential, keep going. And at that point, I just thought, okay, well, they didn't tell me, put your computer or your typewriter away and run. So I kept going, and it just built from that.
That's really great, because in the world of writing and actually submitting, when you get a rejection or you hear nothing at all, it is nice to get some feedback, because it's like, okay, that constructive feedback is so invaluable, you know? And so what can I do to get better to where I want to get? What can I do? Please guide me, tell me. Like you said, they gave you a few sentences and that's all you needed to hear, because otherwise you might have hung it up, and then we wouldn't have your books in our world to read. So I don't know. Do you remember what year that was?
Oh boy, it was 1990, probably 6.
Okay, so maybe the people were still polite back then. I mean, no, it's like I was, and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, that doesn't even grasp me. Boom, it's it's off the table. I'm not even interested. So, but it is nice to be able to get that feedback. So I'm glad they gave that to you, so you kept going.
Yes, it was very kind. I mean, they could have been harsh and just rubber stamped me, but they didn't. So it gave me hope, and I just kept trying. But the first book I published, Nearly Departed in Deadwood, it's the first in my Deadwood mystery series. That wasn't until 2011, January of 2011. So you do the math from 1996 to 2011. Of course, there was some life in there, children being born, college, jobs. So it took me a little bit to really get enough talent going, enough, get good enough at my trade to be able to go forth and publish. It was my 7th book as well, Nearly Departed in Deadwood. It was not my 2nd. So I wrote a lot in between trying to improve.
Wow. And you have to, go ahead, Brigitte.
I've got a burning question for you, especially with the pandemic. A lot of families were now thrust into a position where they were having to work from home, school from home, do everything from home. You and your husband already are writing together. Now you had the kids home more full-time as well. Mm-hmm. How did that work out? And how do you and your husband not kill each other?
Well, yes, our kids are home, but fortunately they're junior high and high school. So it's not as much hands-on. We still do some where we help with one of our children that struggles a little bit more with the online learning. But otherwise, we really aren't in their school time is in their rooms where they have a full setup now, and they can focus on their schooling while we still get some time, to do our thing. Although we joke about the kitchen is a lot messier at lunchtime than it was with them gone, so it has affected us some in that it's, we don't have hours and hours of uninterrupted time like we used to have. However, because they're older and they occupy themselves more and they can do a lot more on their own, we're still able to keep going. We're actually more distracted, I think, by just if we let headlines, be part of our day. So we really try to shut some of that out now and focus just, we get this much time to glance through stuff and then go back and focus on writing. As for not killing each other, it is sometimes stressful for both of us because where some people, when they write, they do, like one person will do one chapter and another will do another chapter. We don't do that. We actually blend our voices so that he'll go through, we'll plot it together, brainstorm, come up with the structure and the ideas, and then he'll go through first and write the first draft of a chapter or several. And I wait until he's partway, into the story, and then I come in after him and do my part in the writing. So we're much more blended. And I've had readers try to figure out who's where, who wrote what, and it's not easy because, again, we blend. And then when we're all ready, when we're both done, we'll go through it together aloud and make edits again to smooth it even more.
That's a very interesting, and probably that I don't know that would work for everybody, but you guys have really been able to make it work for you, and it makes the books more unique that way. Because you're right, traditionally, because that's what I've done with my writing partner is, we each take chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that male and female voice there, not a blended. So that's really awesome that you have blended it that way. That's really cool.
It's a lot of fun. There are moments of frustration when one of us really wants something to be in there and the other is like, I don't know. So we really talk it out and see what your reasoning for wanting it in, what your reasoning, for not wanting it in. And then we come to a agreement along the line on what to do and go forth. So it's compromise, but, we've remodeled houses together. We've partly raised our kids together. They're not fully grown yet. So we figured it was worth giving it a shot. And it's overall, it's working wonderfully. I mean, the stories that come out are so much fun and we have a fun time doing it.
That's wonderful.
I think, being able, couples, a lot of people don't understand the chemistry you need to be able to work from home, much more being able to write together in the same book and blend that. How long did it take you to actually, for anyone watching that may want to do what you're doing, how long did it take you to actually find that kind of synergy that you have now?
Well, 3 books in, and we're still perfecting the process and working on, not stepping on toes and continually building, together. So it is a process. It wasn't automatic. The first book was a real experiment to see if our marriage could handle it, right? So it was, it was interesting, especially I had not written with anyone. When we started, I had about 25 books out that I hadn't, ever done a co-writing thing. So just as him learning to write with me there, I had to learn to shut my mouth a little bit more and pull back because it had to be mutual. And it couldn't just be me and my big, voice coming in. So there's definitely been a learning process for both of us on how to blend and do it in a way that we enjoy doing this together instead of struggle.
And did you purposely, because you write together, did you purposely by design have different names?
Well, I was Aunt Charles, of course, since way back when. So he did not want to. If you guys, those of you who know about marketing, you put that name out there. If you put another name with Charles out there, you're going to have some problems sometimes with crossover and mix-ups. So really, we decided it would be better to have slightly different names so that we could, when we're marketing, there would be no confusion. It would just make things clearer. So we talked, and he loved the name, last name Lucky, and the fun of Lucky, writing, getting to write and be part of, what we were doing. So we just thought it was a great name, Sam Lucky. And it's part of it. There is part of his name actually in that name. So it was just kind of how that came about, to have slightly different names on the whole thing.
And that sounds like a character in a book, Sam Lucky.
Doesn't it? It sounds like an Old West person,
Yeah. So I think there's another book there. There's another book. And I'm sitting here while listening to you, and you're talking about just the synergy of the relationship and everything. And y'all, you both, it's not, I say y'all because I'm here in the South, but you all should consider writing a book, about relationships and what you have seen work and what you've seen that hasn't worked, because you have been able to make it very successful. And there are a lot of couples out there who would love to know the chemistry and the recipe for the chemistry, because it's a struggle. I mean, when John Gray wrote, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. I mean, he was right, because we are from two different planets. And every once in a while you get a couple that, you have that chemistry that really works. And so, I don't know, y'all should consider writing something about that.
Well, I have read that book, by the way. I read it years ago. It was a fun book.
Yes.
We actually did start out, we met because we were coworkers. So we started out working together. So it really kind of comes back every now and then again of being coworkers, which is kind of fun. We always, since that first time when we worked together, actually in an office, we had always wanted to be able to work together again because we had fun when we did that. It was, we worked well, we got, we enjoyed the job, and then we had, enjoyed spending time together throughout the day. So it's really wonderful that we still get to work together and spend time together throughout the day. And amazingly, even with, the virus or the pandemic and we're staying home more, we still enjoy just hanging out together all the time.
Well, it's a rarity.
Absolutely rare. And your husband, where did his love for writing come from? Were you just both sort of naturally inclined to write?
Well, his mom was an English teacher, high school English teacher. So I often
he's grammatically correct.
I often like to joke how much more well-spoken he is than I am. I mean, he uses words every now and then that I go, okay, could you dumb that down a little bit for me? Because I'm not sure
Double
what
back
you're
a bit.
saying. And I often say, what does this word mean? Because he just has this amazing vocabulary. And this really comes through in the stories that we write. Because when you write a Western and you're actually writing historical, you have to try to have your voice sound a little bit like the times back then, especially Regency romance writers really understand this, because you have to be right on, with what words they used and how they said them. So it's the same with the Western. You have to know the language they spoke and how the terms they used and what they couldn't use. So his vocabulary really plays a wonderful part in this story, where there are passages that I'm just wowed when I read them that he wrote, because he's just, like I said, he's got the vocabulary background that I don't have. It only comes to me on a good day when I've had a lot of coffee in me. Then I'm like, wow, how's this coming out?
So is your whole family, your kids supportive of what you guys are doing, your family, his family, is everybody excited for you guys? Because, having that support makes that whole journey even that much better and much more successful.
I am so fortunate. We both are so fortunate that both of our families are behind us, 100%. In addition to, let me give you a little example of how much his sister is our assistant, if you want to use the word. My right hand is what I like to think of her. Our mothers have been editors from the start. They read the first draft and are part of it. My sister, one of my oldest sister, is our bookkeeper, and she also sells our books out at different events. So she helps with that. My brother is the artist and illustrator that draws the cover art, and he does the illustrations on the inside. His wife helps with figuring out which illustrations to use. I mean, I can just go down the line of different family members and all they do.
That's amazing.
And the joke is, before someone has someone, bring someone into the family, we kind of need to vet them to see where they're going to fit in the business. Right?
Absolutely. And that's great that you're keeping it in as a family business, because that really makes your whole family really strong. And what a journey you get to go on. That's really exciting.
I know. I joke because, like I said, my bookkeeper is my oldest sister, and she will often say, you know, where's that? I need October or September's books. And I'm like, oh, and you know, with another bookkeeper, I could kind of, I'll get it to you when I get it. But when it's your oldest sister, she's going, give me that. Give me it now. Get it done. You kind of go, okay, I'm getting it done.
Well, the good thing is you can spend all the time being creative and not have to worry about all this other stuff, because, you know, a lot of authors, we're wearing about 10 hats and we really need a team of people. So that's amazing and wonderful for you guys that you have that support. And so then that just frees you up to be able to do what you love and what you're both really fantastic at, it sounds like. And do you have, what is your project? Are you guys presently working on a project? Are you kind of writing, you know, just kind of writing and soaking all this in and really focusing on the present book that you have out? And how have you guys marketed during COVID? Because I know, like, you know, for any of us who had library events planned, you know, public events or school events or anything, depending on what you're writing, you know, all of that got canceled.
Right. Well, to answer the first part, we are not, I would love it if we were just doing the promotion and that was it at this point, but we're not. We are actually writing a Christmas novella in this series, this Deadwood Undertaker series. So Mr. Lucky is currently, we've plotted it. We have it all ready to go, what we're doing. He is currently in the midst of writing it. So he's doing his part going through. So we're writing and then also promoting at the same time the last book. And then I as well am working on getting the 12th book going in my Deadwood mystery series, because that will come after the Christmas novella. So I need to get that written, and that's a full-length novel, usually about 125 to 130,000 words, which will take me a few months. So we have a couple things going at once, and we're getting ready because we have this is crazy, but there's a cookbook coming out called Moon the Cook. It's the Ann Charles World Cookbook. Some of my fans that are friends have gone through all my series, and apparently I write a lot about food in the story, which makes sense because we're writers, we sit so much. And so it's hard to stay in shape. So I'm often dieting when I'm writing and trying not to eat junk food or chips. So it turns out it comes out in the story where they're often eating various foods. And so
that's so funny.
They collected them all, and then they've made we've got recipes together, and then some of the wonderful readers have contributed some of their favorite recipes. So we have a recipe book coming out in November called, like I said, it's called Moon the Cook. And if you're a fan of my series, we actually include which book the recipe is used in, and we include part of the scene, so you can kind of, you know, see where you're doing. So yeah, we have some stuff going, keeping us hopping. For marketing during this whole thing, I have really, surprisingly, if you would have asked me last year, hey, will you do some live videos and talk and do some book signings online and do that kind of stuff, I would have gone, I don't think so. But starting,
now you have no choice.
I know. Well, starting partly thanks to Creative Edge Publicity that I work with, they had me doing more interviews online over the phone and talking. And I used to do workshops all the time. So it got me back in that kind of feel. And then I started in, I think it was March, having book club online once a week. As I was getting ready to release book 11 in the Deadwood series, we started off with book 1 and had a weekly book club on the books going up to it, and timed it so it would release when we were ready for that book. So I've done that. I've done some, like I said, I did an online book signing 2 days over a weekend. That was fun, crazy. But I have a store, the Ann Charles store, that you can buy the books through my website. That'll be autographed print books. So they were able to go through my store, order the books, and then I signed them, and talked to them and signed it to them while I was live online looking at them and interacting with them. So that worked out really well. Boy, we had like 100 things to ship out come Monday. So
that's great.
Wonderful. We've kept busy doing stuff more online. I also have a monthly show with another author where we just it's two authors, and we both write similar kind of books, and we're just hanging out, talking, and having a good time. So it's like sitting at a coffee shop or a bar or whatever you want with us, and just seeing what two writers will often chat about, as well as answering some of their questions.
That's wonderful. And I want to ask you, because we're about out of time, but I want to ask you, where can people find that show that you do?
It's on YouTube. I have Ann Charles YouTube channel. So if you go out and you search Ann Charles, you can find my channel, and then you can find all the book clubs I've done, all the Facebook Live stuff, different things I've done, and then as well as this new show that we've done 2 of them so far, and we're going to do one in October. I don't have the date yet, but I think we're going to wear Halloween costumes and have some fun.
We have to. We got to keep things light right now, don't we?
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, and you can also find everything via anncharles.com. So you can go there and find all the links.
And so my last question to you, Anne, is do you think that your children are going to follow in your footsteps, or have you put them off writing for life?
Well, actually, my son, who is 15, he just finished a 90,000 word novel, his first.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's urban fantasy, kind of, well, not urban, but more fantasy, sci-fi, kind of dragons. So now we're in the learning process of editing. And for those people who write, that's a cringe thing, but he's open to it and ready to edit and learn all about this. So apparently he's going to follow in our footsteps. My daughter, not into writing as much, but she is one who helps me with all my videos and so much promo stuff. So she's my little marketer. And I'm helping her, back and forth, giving her plenty of things to do to learn how to help me from Mom, your smile's scaring me, when you do that on the camera too. The lighting's not so good in here. So we're really getting it down. And she gets social media and all that. So she's helping me on that front.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I think that's amazing. Whenever I hear stories like this, it's so heartwarming. They term what you're doing flip learning. So it's basically learning skills in real time that'll help them or equip them on their journey in future. It's not just textbook stuff, but they're learning, along with you. So that, it's phenomenal that your son's writing this book, that your daughter's helping you with your videos, and not just sort of like, hey, Mom, that's nice stuff. Yeah. She's actually critical about, she's learned the skill of, knowing what's good and what's bad on video. And that is phenomenal. All I can say is yay, for a great example of how a family is the true epitome of teamwork makes the dream work. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just saying, I'm very fortunate to have so much family, so supportive and helpful, and be along on this journey. It makes it so much fun for all of us.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. And I like the quote that Brigetti just gave, because it pretty much sums up what your world is almost,
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you have got projects coming up, and we want people to come check you out, and we want people to share so that even that many more people can find you. And everyone loves a good mystery. And I like that you have sass in there, and because that really makes it that much more fun to read. And, this is a great time with everything else we have going on in the world. This is a really, really great time for reading, for those of us who have the time to read or have thought about reading, or, because it does take us out of what's going on. And like you said, like I know our house, we shut most of the time. We do not have anything news on, and just try to stay away from that as much as possible, because we need to pretend, I guess, that everything's okay and we're still moving forward.
Right. Same here.
And
mental health.
A final word from you. What advice would you give your younger self?
Whew, that's tough. I guess just stick to it. Don't give up. That's writing to me is perseverance, from putting words on the page to reach the end, to marketing, to bookkeeping every month. Every part of writing is about perseverance and not giving up. So just push on forward and keep trying.
I think that's a great note to end the show on. So I want to say thank you to our audience on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Periscope. Thank you for watching. Remember to write good stuff and be inspired one conversation at a time. Stay well, everyone, and we'll see you back again next week.
Thanks.
Bye.